All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. After setting the tone in the Western Conference semifinal series with the Denver Nuggets, the Minnesota Timberwolves have been brought back down to earth as they dropped both games 3 and 4 as Denver has evened things up. Now, the Timberwolves know that the Nuggets now have the momentum as the series shifts back to Denver for game 5 tomorrow night. The T Wolves know that they can win on the Nuggets home floor as they did it in games 1 and 2. But Minnesota is going to need someone not named Anthony Edwards to step up. Only Rudy Gobert is currently earning more money this season from the Timberwolves than Karl-Anthony Towns is. Several years ago, it appeared the Towns would be the face of the franchise in Minnesota, but that narrative has quickly shifted to Ant-Man. And of course, Edwards is in the midst of a breakout performance so far in this postseason run for the Timberwolves, but he cannot do it by himself if Minnesota wants to advance to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years. Now, in the first 2 games of this series, yes, Edwards did take over, but Towns also scored 20 and 27, respectively. But in games 3 and 4 at home, the big fella went for 14 and 13 in those 2 games. Ant-Man, plain and simple, is taking his game to the next level. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But Cat is going to have to join him if the T Wolves are going to be able to take that next step. Now, historically, Cat's production dips in the postseason in comparison to the regular season, and that has to change going forward for Minnesota. In games 3 and 4, Denver started fast, which is something that up until that point they have not done so far here in the postseason. They started fast and they did a much better job of getting everybody involved. And I guarantee you, Denver is going to try to keep going with that narrative in game 5 tomorrow night. So the big question is going to be, will Cat be able to match Anthony Edwards? He's going to have to. He has to step up because it's one of those. If you look at the shooting performances from the last 2 games, in game number 3, he only took 7 shots as Denver really blew out Minnesota from the jump. Okay, but then last night in game number 4, 5 of 18 shooting overall, 1 of 4 from the land, 2 of 4 for free throws and on free throws, and it resulted in 13 points and 12 rebounds. That simply is not going to cut it. Cat's got to be more aggressive, and we've seen him in the past regress in the postseason. And at this point, again, like I said, if the Timberwolves are going to take that next step, they're going to need more from the big fella. So for Minnesota, they're looking to get that momentum back. And I think they're going to try to start strong tomorrow night. This is a very pivotal game, okay, for both of these clubs because both of these teams want to go out there and establish the tempo. And of course, the loser of tomorrow night's contest is going to be on the brink. Getting back to game number 4, Denver started off strong. Minnesota was coming back, but oh, what a difference the final 30 seconds or even less in the second quarter made in that game. It was a 7-point deficit for Minnesota. A 3-point shot made it a 10-point deficit. The Timberwolves really should have tried to settle for the last shot. A fast break dunk for Michael Porter Jr. made it 12. And then, of course, the 3-pointer at the buzzer by Jamal Murray was the backbreaker. We're seeing why in games number 3 and 4, why the Denver Nuggets are the defending NBA champions. They have that championship medal, and the Timberwolves are going to have to match that and, most importantly, exceed that over the final 3 games of this series. They did it, and they did it successfully in games number 1 and 2 to build that lead. But of course, like I said before, the momentum in this series is shifted. It can't just be about Anthony Edwards. Karl-Anthony Towns has got to step up. Whatever it takes. Okay, he's got to go out there and try to consistently give them 25 points. If he can give Minnesota consistently 25 points, double digit rebounds, along with what Anthony Edwards has been doing throughout this postseason, Minnesota's got a good chance to advance to the Western Conference Finals. But like I said before, it can't just be Ant-Man. Somebody else needs to step up for this Timberwolves squad, and it starts and ends with Karl-Anthony Towns. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank all of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.